How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you. What brings you here today?
Well, just wanted to meet with you and get a lot of stuff off my chest. Things that's been weighing me down.
Okay.
Since the divorce and taking on the whole role of a single parent
Right,
is new to me and it's challenging. But I've been maintaining. Thank God for that.
right. So, what you're concerned about uh, is that you are experiencing change in in the area of being a newly divorced single father, and you
Y-
just wanted to get some things off your chest.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Elaborate on that a little bit for me.
Well, um, first, you know, I didn't know how challenging single moms had it
Right,
until now I'm in a single parent's shoes,
right,
Um, even though I'm seeing, God moving as far as blessings and seeing the kids still maintaining their joy and still having fun, but now it's like, okay, they're having fun, but now daddy is like behind closed doors is sad,
right.
mixed emotions, lonely, um, trying to find out trying to find answers from God on why things had to go the way they had to go,
Right.
and just now trying to adjust or maintaining not just my life but the kids' life, a house, and everything that comes with a house.
Right, right. So what I'm hearing is that you're elated in a sense that your children have adjusted, but now you're struggling behind closed doors with yourself
Right,
because you're questioning the divorce. You're questioning why all this had to happen, and so now you want to resolve in a sense where you can experience that same joy as the children at this point.
right, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Um, Sometimes I had to catch myself because, especially when dealing with the kids, as far as disciplining them or 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 talking to them, because I find myself talking talking to them out of anger,
Okay.
not exactly towards them, anger towards them, but frustrated because of the ex-wife,
Right.
frustrated because of where am I, um, I guess socially, you
Right.
know, and just reflecting on and thinking about what could have happened
Right.
if the what ifs,
Or whatever.
you know.
Okay.
So a lot of times I have to catch myself and ask God for stability and keeping my emotions,
Right.
at bay.
Okay. So your goal here, in a sense, again, is to just to find balance in the midst of everything that you're experiencing. Uh, and so you've mentioned that you find yourself in prayer and constant uh, conversation with God, and so that's brought you some sort of peace. But what have you put in place? What type of goals, what type of targets have you put in place, and what type of markers are you really looking at in terms of bringing it all in together?
Well, my first goal, and it's funny that you said that because I was just looking at my list. I just printed out my list early this morning.
Okay.
um, uh, and first on my list is to make sure I establish that stability, that stable relationship with God.
Okay.
Constantly striving to clearly hear from Him
Right.
and to constantly step out on what He tells me to do. You know, put it, as one pastor puts it, acting like God is telling the truth.
Right.
And I'm constantly building my faith by listening to different sermons on faith and reading scriptures and reading books on how to deal with your storms, your how to deal with different struggles in your journey to where God wants you to be, as far as your destiny, your journey to your destiny.
Right.
Two, finding myself living out the abundant life that God wants His people to live out on earth. Not wait until we get to heaven. You know, I found out that if we do what He tells us to do and put Him first, we can have fun.
Right.
Whether we married, whether we single.
Right.
So what I've been doing is setting short-term goals for not just me, for me and my kids. How many trips I want to take in a year for
Right.
myself, and then with the kids.
Right.
What haven't we seen? What museums we haven't been to? What places haven't we gone? What restaurants we haven't done? And I thank God for Groupon and Living Social, because I come
Absolutely.
across a lot of deals.
Okay.
You know, go horseback riding, take a couple of dance class lessons,
Right.
stuff for, just living the abundant life that God wants us to live. Having a saving strategy, not just for my own self, but for the kids' future.
Right.
And sticking with it, and sticking with the plan. How much I want to have saved by time they're in 3 years for them. How much I want to have saved. How much I want in their saving by time they in high school, or how much I want to have put to the side.
Right.
Within 2 or 3 years. And seeing and sticking to it,
Okay.
and asking God constantly how to go about generating extra income without having to work 2 or 3 jobs, or wearing myself down
Right.
and neglecting the kids at the
Right.
same time. And He has been showing me,
Okay.
you know.
So you're open
Yeah.
to experiencing new things,
Yes.
adequately planning,
Yes.
and living life to its fullest with God at the center.
God at the center, the front, and the end.
And you're excited about it.
I'm excited about it.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So, what more could be implemented here from your standpoint? I know that you're a single father. You're working multiple jobs, and you're maintaining a household in the absence of the children's mother. What more could be either eliminated or added that would alleviate some of the stress off of you? I know we're planning, and we're now having a plan in motion.
Right.
What more have you done in accordance to that plan?
Well, as far as sticking to the plan that God already laid out in front of me, being consistent, and not moving without Him giving me the green light,
Okay.
it's more peaceful. I see better results. Because in the beginning, when I was married, it wasn't what God wanted. When I was married, it wasn't what God wanted. It
Right.
was what, okay, let me try to please the wife and,
Right.
and this, that, and the other. But now that I'm more focused on what God wants, everything works out.
Okay.
And everything, no matter how it might look as the transition or as I'm going in motion, the end result, everything turns out.
Okay. Okay.
So it's just mainly just staying consistent on putting Him first.
Okay. So we come to the end of our session, and what I've heard throughout the session is that you're a man who is secure in his faith with God.
Right.
You have an objective, and that is to live life to the fullest, with God at the center,
Yes.
without neglecting your children,
Right.
and without depriving yourself of any joy or happiness of your
Yeah.
own. So you have a plan in place. And so what I want to do before we meet, what we want you to do before we meet again, is to sit down and review that list. And I want you to actually go back and look at the ground that you've covered. And when we sit to meet again, we can discuss that as to oppose looking at the broader scope that you're trying to cover so much ground within a certain amount of time. I want you to see the ground that you've already covered, and we'll discuss that next time we sit down. But I'm glad to have the opportunity to meet you and sit down and talk with you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
And thank you.
I appreciate the time and the session.
All right, great. All right.
That actually felt good. I got that on there.